on, get in!
All right, good morning, Dad. How you doing today?
Well, I'm well, handsome, and you?
Oh, calm down. You are energetic.
Well, you know, I had my giant cup of coffee.
Yeah, you really do
which
have
is
a
really,
huge mug.
Which is really 4 cups, so.
Yeah, probably
Yeah.
not the best health thing, but that's okay. Dad, we are sponsored by our continued sponsor, findthebestcarprice.com/insider, link down below, aggregating, I can never think, gathering, what's the third word? We need, things in threes are good, aggregating, gathering,
Coalescing?
pooling, and coalescing. Manufacturer insights,
Yes.
oh my, incentives in one place. Link down below. We're still invoicing. It's a beautiful thing we've got going on here. And Dad, we're still doing
Yes.
our comment to win
Free merch?
free merch. So if you
Wow.
comment down below, we're going to do our Thanksgiving live stream. That's when we will announce probably like 15 winners of free merch. So get excited for that.
Well, I bet you Dara can't wait.
Yeah, we're doing it from her house again.
Goodness, oh well.
All right, Pops, I want to hop right into our weekly market update. It is Saturday morning, and that means one thing and one thing only. We're talking about the new and used car market.
And the good news on the used car front is for the 9th week in a row, wholesale prices continued to drop, which means ultimately we will see a drop in retail pricing of those used cars. Right now, since we're 9 weeks into this steady drop in prices, the dealers that have those cars that they bought 9 weeks ago, 8 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago, because of their aged unit policies, they should be fairly desperate at this point to start reducing the prices of those to get rid of them, so that they can take that cash, get back into the market, go back to the auctions, and buy some cars that are less expensive than the cars that they just sold. Retail prices have somewhat stabilized. I would
They've
think
plateaued, Dad. Like, it's actually, like, there's one graph, and we'll put it up on the screen now. Like, the black line is wholesale prices. The red line is retail prices. And, like, black line's going down. Red line went down 4 percentage points, and now it's flat. And that's, like, really frustrating if I'm a car buyer. Like, why are wholesale prices decreasing week over week considerably? Because we'll get into that in a second, how much. Like, it's not trivial. And then retail side, they're staying flat. It's frustrating.
It is, and I think the reason that they're staying flat at this point is because the dealers are still trying to work through the inventory that they paid way too much money for. And, you know, having worked for dealers for 43 years, they really hate to take a loss. So they so many dealers like to base what they're willing to sell a car for on what they paid for it, as opposed to, I don't know, what the real market conditions might be at the time. What you paid for a car is irrelevant when you go to sell it, because if the market has dropped out, then it doesn't matter what you paid for it. It matters what you can get for it. So I just think that there's a large percentage of dealers at this point that are just, you know, subscribing to the theory, well, we paid X and we need to get Y. And shortly they'll go, well, we paid X and we'd be okay getting Z, which is maybe at or less than what X was.
That's a lot of math for you, but I'm impressed.
Yeah, but the truth of the matter is I couldn't compute any of that. I just know that at a certain point the dealers are going to go, okay, we got to turn this stuff into cash. The longer it sits as a piece of merchandise on the lot, the lower the value of that piece of merchandise continues to go down. So I think even though retail prices have kind of stabilized or plateaued, I like that word, plateaued. Even though they have plateaued, I think pretty soon they're coming to the edge of a cliff. And and they're going to have to navigate that trail off the edge of that cliff. So you're going to start seeing the retail pricing go back down again. It's just a natural progression because they need to turn this metal into cash again.
I wonder if we're going to see retail prices, like the listing price that you see online, decrease, or if you simply need to go in, like the price will stay the same, but as a car buyer, you go in and you know you have more leverage. We actually, you wrote that blog post, Dad, about Clark's experience. We did the video about it as well.
Yes.
Like the car buying 101, essentially. Like he went in and he talked to the sales manager. He's like, hey, I've been looking at the Black Book data. I know you've been sitting on this for 60 days. I know that means you bought it then. Like, I think the prices might stay the same because why not? Why not see if we can get a lay down? I remembered lay down this time. Why don't we see if we can get someone who can just, who says, okay, I need that car, I'll buy it. But if you go in and you're like, hey, you bought this car 60 days ago, 8 weeks ago, 9 weeks ago, whatever it is. I know you paid way too much for it then because used car prices were sky high on the wholesale market. I'll take it off your hands. It's cash. You can go invest it in another unit. I would be of the mindset that that's what you're going to have to do as a car buyer. Don't expect, you're going to wake up one day and then Car Guru shows everything 5% less.
Well, no, I agree with you. And what you're suggesting is that if you have the knowledge of what's going on in the market that we try to provide week in and week out every Saturday, you can utilize that knowledge to let the sales team know at whatever dealership you're at that you're an informed buyer. You know what's going on. You're going to speak their language so that they might be more predisposed to lower the price in order to turn that into cash again. Because you sound like somebody that's informed, and you're informed thanks to your friends here at Your Auto Advocate. But yes, that's an important component to getting a better deal. Absolutely.
Where is your Knowledge is Power t-shirt, Dad?
Well, I don't know. I asked for it weeks ago, and the CEO of this fine company keeps telling me he's ordered it. Kind of like some of the watches that I've ordered that never seem to arrive. The funny thing is I got from one of my watch companies, I got a notice that it shipped, okay? And it said on November 1st, they created a shipping label. Yeah. Okay, great. It
hasn't updated?
It finally updated earlier this week. So one of my watches is somewhere in New Jersey, but I'm now at the mercy of the United States Postal Service.
Dad, you know what I'm thinking, and we'll get back to the real content that you came here for in a second. Why don't you comment on this video, and then you have a chance to win a free Knowledge is Power t-shirt. So maybe you should just play by the rules. I'm just saying, maybe that's an option.
No, I understand the option. I don't think I have to win it. I just think you need to provide it.
All right, why don't we get into some of the data broken down, Dad? Well, I don't know. Did you want to hit on a few specific things? I definitely want to make sure we talk about the week-over-week depreciation of wholesale price for cars and for trucks.
Absolutely.
You want me to dive into that, or you want to go for it?
Well, I just want, before you dive into that, I just wanted to say that retail listing volume has continued to go up, which means that there's more cars week over week that are now being listed for retail sale. So that means that the supply is growing and the demand, we know, is softening, which also bodes well, if you believe in the laws of economics of supply and demand, that if supply goes up and demand goes down, then ultimately what needs to follow will be that the prices will go down. So it's very, very important that we continue to see a week-over-week increase in the amount of retail cars that are being listed for sale.
And you saw the news. I'll jump into that.
Yeah.
You saw the news, though, about Carvana Q3. They reported they bought more cars than they sold. Which was pretty incredible. All right, so let's hop into it. Oh, go ahead, Dad.
And they bought the bulk of those cars from people like you.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so I'm going to put the charts up on the screen so you can follow along. We saw a almost 84, basis points, so like 0.84% decrease week over week in the car segment in terms of depreciation on the wholesale side. And so you can see subcompact cars over a point, compact cars well over a point, mid-sized cars well over a point. Full-size cars, less depreciation. Luxury vehicles, less depreciation, so on and so forth. You will see sporty cars. And Dad, maybe you could talk to just briefly the seasonality of sports cars. They depreciate more to begin with in the winter time, don't they?
Well, yeah, because people won't use them in the wintertime. You know, in the vast majority of the country, with really inclement weather and snow and things like that, people are not driving or looking to purchase, say, sports cars and convertibles. I know many a dealer that would trade a convertible or a sports car this time of year, really do their best to trade it at a relatively low price, because the person trading it in knows that they're not going to get top dollar for it this time of year, and just hold on to the car above and beyond their normal aging policy. Hold on to those cars until springtime, because they know that's when the market will pick up for those type of cars. So they will have, as you've heard me say in the past, dealers make money when they buy the cars. If they buy it right, that's how they make money. So if they're in a position where they can buy it cheap now and hold it for 120 or 150 days till the spring selling season, they'll make a killing on those vehicles come March and April.
Yep, exactly. Then on the truck side and the SUV side and even the van side, I'll put that chart up on the screen right about now. So you can see almost a point in the subcompact crossover. When you get into larger crossovers, you can see the half to nearly 2/3 point. Luxury crossovers as well, over 3/4 a point decrease week over week in terms of their wholesale value. Where the declines are less are in the luxury crossovers. So similar to when we were looking at the luxury cars a moment ago. The big surprise, maybe it's not a surprise, but just like the biggest decrease week over week is in the minivan segment. So if you're in the market to buy a used minivan, we're looking at 9 weeks in a row of decreasing wholesale prices on minivans of, in this case, 1.35%, representing $167 off the wholesale price. 9 weeks of that, you're talking about if you bought a minivan 9 weeks ago versus today, that's $1,000 difference in price simply because you're able to wait. That's huge.
Yes, and you know, when we mention, or you mention, the percentage of decrease every week, and like 0.84 this week and 0.74 last week, well, you know, start adding that up, and that's quite a bit over the 9 week period of time.
It's huge. It's huge.
You know, where the wholesale values of the cars might have reduced close to 7 or 8% over those 9 weeks.
So use that knowledge, right? Like use that knowledge. Like if you go to the dealership, okay, run a market price report for the Toyota Sienna you're interested in buying, the 2017 Toyota Sienna you're interested in buying. Find the one that's been on a dealer's lot for 70 days. Then go to that dealership and say to them, hey, I know you paid $1,000 more wholesale than what this car is currently worth if you send it to auction. Let me take it off your hands. That logic, backed by the Black Book data, it'll work. We get emails pretty frequently. Like Clark is, again, a really great story of how that works. And so that's the whole point of this show, is to be more informed. Everyone wins. The dealer gets rid of an aged unit. You get a car way cheaper than you would have otherwise.
Yeah, and realistically, the dealer's pretty happy to get rid of the aged unit, even if he's incurred a small loss to do it, because the longer he holds on to it, the bigger the loss is going to become. Unless you're like one of the dealers that I worked for that just figured, well, he could hold on to any used car he wanted for however many years it took, because ultimately it would be the only one left in America for sale, and somebody would have to have it. But that's counterintuitive to how most dealerships would operate.
Yeah, absolutely, Dad. Absolutely. All right, well, I feel like we've covered our bases. I appreciate your time like always. Stay tuned for next week's market update and live stream on Thanksgiving Day. Please be sure to join us there. Comment down below to enter in for the merch. Any last words, Dad? Any parting shots?
Yes, there's a strong rumor and a strong likelihood that we are going to be motoring across America so that we can winter somewhere warmer than the East Coast. So if you'd be so kind, give us some suggestions as to places we should look at or stop at, tourist attractions to see. I know presently we're thinking about taking a more southern route And there's a place in Tennessee called the Dragon that we want to go see and drive through. And so give us some ideas as to what you think we should take in on our trip across America, and we'll take some videos and share them with you as well.
I'm excited for that, Dad. I really, really am.
I am too. I just hope we have enough masks and disinfectant wipes for the trip. But we'll stock up, I promise.
And that the Mini can make it. But we'll see.
It's under warranty if it can't.
All right, Dad. I love you.
I love you too. I'll talk to you later, handsome.
Yeah, I'll catch you then.
Yeah. Bye-bye.
You're funny.